Hello, I'm truly glad you joined me today because today we're going to do something a little bit different and I believe you're going to really enjoy this one. Let me tell you what I've done up here. I've taken just a plain old canvas, stretch canvas, and I've covered this whole area here with black gesso, as you can see. And I've allowed that to dry completely, and then all this area I have covered with a mixture of phthalo blue, sap green, and a little touch of Van Dyke brown in it just to dull it down. And then we've just taken a 2-inch brush and put this all over. I'm going to do a nice dark painting today. So in paintings like this, all this big dark area here, you can use the black gesso and it's already done for you. Let's start off and have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with me. And while they're doing that, let's go on up here and get finished. I'm just using a 2-inch brush to apply this base color on here. And maybe I'll have some big limbs hanging out here, so we can begin working on some basic shapes. This is just liquid white up in this portion, plain canvas, nothing on it. And see, maybe up in here, maybe we're going to have a big tree, so we can just take the color that's left on the brush and just tap in a basic shape of a big happy tree that lives right up in here. And all we're doing is using the corner of the brush and tapping it down. All we're looking for, once again, is very, very basic shapes. We're not looking for detail at this point. Later on, we'll worry about that. There. And a little bit more of that color. Shoot, who knows? Maybe we can have one over here too, wherever you want them. I want this to look like it's deep in the woods. Beautiful little place just to play and hide. Okay, now then, let's have some fun. Take a fan brush today. We'll go into a least little touch of the cadmium yellow. Get a little yellow ochre also. We'll use them together, yellow ochre and cad yellow. Let's go back up here. I want to have some spots back here where it looks like light shining through. So take the brush and get mean with it. Just go in here and hit and turn it. Now there's green on the canvas, and blue, so you're going to get all these pretty little colors that just show through. And here and there, pick up a little white. See how that lightens it up? Makes all kinds of effects. So you have white, cad yellow, yellow ochre, but just hit here and there, just at random, and spin the brush. Keep it moving. Don't let that son of a gun go to sleep on you. Keep it moving. Then we'll take a clean, dry 2-inch brush and very lightly, I'm just going to lift that up and down. Just as easy as it can be. There. And hopefully, if everything works right, that'll look like there's a little bit of light shining through a lot of trees when we're done. So let's get another fan brush. I have several of them going here, and we'll go into straight midnight black. Load a lot of paint into the bristles, both sides. Okay, now back in here, all we do is just tap downward and begin putting the indication of little trees that live far, far away back here. These are far back in the distance, so we're not looking for a lot of detail. There. Isn't that sneaky? And just sort of stagger the trees around. You know, trees grow, they grow however makes them happy. So just wherever you think there should be a tree, that's where you should be. Then we can take our script liner brush with paint thinner on it and go right into some black. And we want to thin this paint till it's literally like ink. And with that, just here and there, put the indication of little limbs that are growing out of these trees. I'm not looking for a lot of detail. Once again, I think I'll probably put some big trees in front of this and we'll cover up a lot of this. There. See, just let that paint flow on there, like so. While I have that old brush going, I'm going to add a little brown to it. So I have Van Dyke brown and midnight black, and a little more paint thinner. Okay, maybe right here in this big old tree, it needs a trunk. So we'll just pull that right on up through. You can go from the large part up or from the small part down, whichever way works best for you. Try it both ways. Some people find one way works better, some find the other way works for each different, and just test it, see how it works for you. Just an indication here and there of a few little limbs and sticks. Shoot, maybe back over here you can make out some little things that are happening. I don't want these too distinct. These are just little indications back in there. All kinds of pretty little things happening way back in the distance. Maybe there's even one that goes back there. Wherever you think they should be. In your world, that's exactly where they should be. Okay. Now then, I'll tell you what, we'll just use a 1-inch brush today. You could do it with any brush, but we'll use a 1-inch. I'm going to go into, we'll take some of that dark color. We'll go into some yellow. We'll use all the different yellows. Indian yellow, yellow ochre, cad yellow. And we'll just tap in a little bit of color. Just tap the brush though, like that. Okay. Now maybe there's a few little highlights on these trees that are way back in here. Once again, I don't want too much detail back here. It'll destroy that illusion of distance. Just a little. Just where little lights shining through there and playing and the little leaves are sparkling. That's all we're looking for. There. This black gesso is fantastic for, as I mentioned earlier, for areas that you have a lot of dark in paintings. Save you a lot of time. There. And it's designed specifically for this type of painting. So it works good. There, maybe over here on this tree there's a few little things. Just wherever you want them. Hope you like this little painting. I continually try to bring you new and different things so you don't get bored with it. Not only in painting do I try to bring you new things, but also in equipment. I'm continually designing new and different pieces of equipment that help make painting easier, so you get the best results. And I hope you enjoy them. Here I'm just going to start with some individual little bushes and begin dropping in some highlights. But work with form. Over and over I say that. Work with form and shape. There we go. Lights coming through here and just zinging down. Have fun. There. But see how easy it is? This is just tapping. So all you have to do is just tap. Maybe this one here, oh, you just barely can make out a little bit on him. There. I designed this tapping because people were having so much trouble trying to push upward with the brush and making it work. So this is a lot easier. You'll find it, anybody can do this with almost no practice. The thing to spend time with is worrying about shape and form. That's where it happens. Okay, well I got some of that dark green on here. Let's begin putting in some of the dark areas on these big limbs that are back in here. This is very dark green. And this is where we start laying out some of our basic form and shape. Look at that. And we're just using the corner of the brush, just tapping downward. That easy. There. Okay, maybe, there it is. There it is. You knew it was there. There's one there. We'll come back later. Maybe we'll brighten those highlights up some. You can make them as bright or as dark as you want them. And maybe over in here, there's some basic little shapes that live in there and play way back here in the dark. Just think about limbs that are projecting in all kind of directions. Isn't that a beautiful way though to make deep in the woods effect? And you can do this with any color on the black canvas. It works super, any transparent color. And the way to tell if a color is transparent enough to do this with is just rub a little bit on your black canvas. If it still looks black, then your color is transparent enough for what we're doing here. And as soon as you rub some on a black canvas, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying if it didn't make any sense now. Okay, now then, maybe, you know me, I love water, so maybe we'll have a little bit of water in here. So I'm going to start off and have a little land back here first, And we'll use this old dirty brush, this old 2-inch brush, and I'll just tap right into some of my Cad Yellow and Sap Green and Yellow Ochre and all those colors, all the yellows, and decide where your land area is going to be. Look at there. See? Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Beautiful little soft grassy area just by tapping with a big old brush. Just begin forming the lay of the land, the way the land flows. There. Okay. Now maybe up in here, maybe in your world there's a little bit of light shining through there. The sunbeam's just zinging through there and it's having a good time. Go right into titanium white. Just a little touch of titanium white, and then come back and just sparkle that where you want the sun to really zing through and shine. Just sparkle. Now for it to be effective, don't overdo. It's easy, because it starts looking so nice, it's easy to do too much. Don't overdo. Just a little bit here and there is extremely effective. Too much will bother you. Okay. And just all kinds of little shapes. See the little dark areas in between these? That's what separates them. That's your friend. Take care of it. Treat it nice. Don't hurt that. And let it get darker, darker, darker back here in these trees and the woods and stuff. Darker, darker, darker. So it looks like there's big shadows. Okay. There we go. Just bring it right on out wherever you want it. And this is just done by tapping. That's all there is to it. All you're doing is just tap, tap, tap. Just like the old tap dancers did. That's all you have to do. Just tap out a happy little tune here and let it go. Okay, we said we was going to have some water. Let me get another brush. And let's have some water right into here. So I'm going to go right into some titanium white. And just pull a little bit onto the brush. Okay, now we have color on the canvas. So decide where your water lives. Touch the canvas and pull straight down. Just sort of give it a little snap, pull downward. And because it's wet underneath, it'll mix with that color and you automatically get all these effects. You don't have to worry about them. They just happen. There we go. And the more of the titanium white paint you put on your canvas, the brighter this will be. So you have to make some big decisions here. How bright do you want it? I would suggest that since this is your brightest area on the land, it also be the brightest area in your water. There now, very lightly come across. Just enough to give it a water effect. Don't want to destroy. And you can push this. You can push it and pull it and give it the impression that the water is shimmering. There we go. Now, I'm going to take some more of a dark color here. I'll just use this little brush. And maybe there's another little peninsula of land over here, because we want that maybe to go around and sort of hide back there somewhere. So all I'm doing is tapping on some dark color. Into that we'll add some highlights. There we go. Okay, and back to my little highlight brush. And you can do it once again with a 1 or 2 inch brush, whatever's handy. See? And put our little highlights on. See, in my world, if the light's shining through there, this is going to be quite bright in here. But then it's very quickly over the other side of this hill here, it's going to get darker, 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 so you use less and less pressure. Here, you're just barely touching the canvas. You just caress it, barely touching. Very gentle, very, very gentle. And then if we want to have a little reflection of there, we'll take a little of our titanium white and pull it down. Just help sparkle it up some. Pull it straight down and go across. And once again, you can wiggle parts of it here and there, wherever you want it. And that easy. There Okay, now then, let's start putting some land masses in there. We'll take some Van Dyke Brown, dark sienna, titanium white. We'll just mix that together about like so. Don't overmix it. Just about like so. Just pull it through and leave it. Cut off a little roll of paint, just a small amount of paint. And let's go right up in here, and wherever we think land should be, then let's just put in a little touch of land there. Just really scrub it in. Maybe it comes right around there, and there's some more. A little roll of paint, though. Okay, maybe here. Maybe this begins coming. Look at there. Maybe it comes right on around like this. Wherever you want it. See there? You can change your mind right in midstream. There's no commitments in this. Anything that you want, you can do. Maybe this is an old dried up area here. Just a bank. And all I'm doing is just rubbing a little bit of color on it. Look at there. Isn't that fantastic? Let some of that dark color show through, some of that black show through. And wherever you want it to go. Maybe it just sort of fades off back here into the shadows. Like that. Darker, darker, darker as it goes back in the shadows. And the more you rub this, the darker it's going to become because it's picking up the color that's underneath. That easy. There we go. I like to do these where you use the knife a great deal. In some of the earlier series, we've showed entire paintings done with nothing but the knife. And you can do it. It's a super way to make friends with that knife. Super way. Okay, maybe on the other side here. Over here. I'll tell you what, let's have a little dirt over here too. Don't want this side left out. Comes right on around. Like that. Brighten that up a little bit so it shows up. See, just sort of let it sneak right on up here into all the little grassy areas. Now, we'll take a fan brush and put a little bit of titanium white on it. And maybe back in here, maybe there's some little ripples happening. This is quite small. Let me grab a little more paint. Maybe it comes right on down here. Maybe there's a tiny little bloop. Yep, there you're right. A little waterfall lives right there. Just a tiny one. Just coming over that little protrusion. And then he comes right on out here into the wider part and goes on about his way. That's all there is to it. And he just goes on around and we don't know where he goes. Okay, back to my fan brush that had the dark color. Let's get crazy over here. Shoot, we're having so much fun and doing so well. Back to the midnight black. Load a lot of paint into the bristles. A lot of color, a lot of color. Okay, maybe there's some big trees that live. Just sort of decide, make a decision, and yep, you're right. There's a tree. These trees are closer to you, so they're bigger, they're stronger, there's more detail in them. I'll tell you what, let's have another one right there. And we could get really crazy, and maybe way over here, there's even a bigger one. But doesn't that make a beautiful effect? Very simply, you can make deep, dark woods without working hardly at all. Go back to my liner brush, paint thinner on it. Now you really want this paint to be as thin as ink so it flows. Turn the brush, turn the bristles in there, and pull it out to a sharp point. That's what we're looking for. Now then, let's just put the indication here and there of some tree trunks. Just here and there. Or, I'm sorry, not tree trunks. We got those, some tree limbs. There. Sometimes your tongue gets over your eye teeth and you can't see what you're saying. There. Okay, let's let some of those run through. There, and some coming out, going in front of the tree. They are all which way here, wherever. There. And you can strengthen up this trunk, a little weak right there, so you can just use a liner brush and add a little more so it'll stand out good and strong. Now if you get to where your paint does not want to flow, as I mentioned earlier, add some paint thinner. Normally that'll cure your problem. There we go. You know, one of the reasons I like to design so many things, when I was in school, when I was in college, my major was engineering until I changed to art. So for several years, I studied engineering. So there's all kinds of crazy things I've designed and developed, and they're all over the country, and they're being used by people all over. And I guess that's a compliment. There. Okay, some more little limbs here and there. I decided in school that I like to paint more than I like to design bridges and buildings and all those kind of things. There. Seemed to me like it was a heck more fun. Heck of a lot more fun. Now then, here and there, just add little sticks and twigs wherever you think they should live. Just wherever. And these little sticks and twigs help add detail to your painting. And these details that's what makes your painting stand out. So add them in. The more the merrier. You'll really like them. They'll pay great dividends. Okay, maybe, tell you what, let me get a little more thinner on let's go on the other side over here. Maybe over here lives, yep, some big old tree limb, and grows right out. Deep in the woods, you have all kinds of beautiful, beautiful tree limbs that happen. So don't be afraid to paint them in there. Let them go. Let them go wherever you want them. Maybe he's got an arm that hangs out over here. Maybe down in here there's all kind of little sticks and twigs. And these are going to be big trees one day if you take care of them. There. See, back in here is where all the little creatures hide, the little bunny rabbits and the squirrels. I think I mentioned on one of the earlier shows, I have 2 little baby squirrels I'm raising now. We were tearing down an old house, and we threw out a box, and so now we got 2 little squirrels rolled out, so you know me. I had to take them home, and I've probably spent a fortune on nuts. They're the best fed squirrels in the country. They don't eat nothing but walnuts and almonds. They're never going to make it on the outside. They're going to be out there looking for those walnut trees. And there's not many of those growing in Florida, and that's where I found them right there. More limbs here and there. Okay. I tell you what, sometimes just get brave. Maybe there's an old tree that a little more thinner. See, if it doesn't flow right, add more thinner. There we go. Maybe this old tree just grows right up through there, like that. And you can put little arms on him, and they just reach out here. Maybe this one's dead. Sometimes people write me letters, and they don't like the fact that I put dead trees in the painting. But when I go to the woods, I see dead trees, and I think it's part of nature. But if you don't want dead trees in your painting, then leave them out. All I want to do is show you how to make these. What you put in them is completely up to you. But if you have time, take a picture of your paintings and send to me. I love to see what you're doing. It makes a lot of hard work by a lot of people worthwhile. And every once in a while we put them together on a board and try to show what everybody's doing. And maybe you'll see your painting on here. So if you have time, just take a little photograph and send them in. We'd really like to see them. Okay. Now then, I'll go back to my little 1-inch brush. I'm going to go into some Cad Yellow and just tap in a little bit of color here. Just a little color. Now I want to sort of separate these leaves. We said we'd come back and brighten those a little, so let's do that. Just out here where you think the sun would strike and they'd really shine. Just here and there. Like so. There. And that's all there is to it. And in your world, you sort of look and design your own painting, and as I've mentioned before, we all see nature through different eyes. So look around where you're at and do a fantastic painting with this black gesso. You'll really love it. I'm going to sign this one. You will take a little red. Let's just sign it right here. Then the paint with paint thinner until it's absolutely like ink, and then it'll flow. And you can just sign your name. And you sign it in whatever color that you want, whatever color makes you happy. And that easy, we have a signed painting. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this painting. It'll teach you some new things. It'll get you started on a world that maybe you haven't tried before. So give it a shot. And from all of us here, happy painting, and God bless.